Development and delivery, elements of effective presentations. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Julian DePolo, and I'm going to deliver a presentation about delivering effective presentations. After seeing hundreds of presentations, speeches, and keynotes throughout my lifetime, as well as researching what makes presentations successful, I have organized the elements of this process in a manner that makes them easily understandable and applicable. Presentations are incredibly common, and when they are not professional quality presentations, they are used in almost every conversation. Merriam-Webster defines presentations as an activity in which someone shows, describes, or explains something to a group of people. This means that anytime you are talking to your friends or listening to a professor, or writing a Facebook post, or anything where the intent is to get information across, you're taking part in a presentation. Learning to present professionally will not only assist in improving these everyday communications, but also make it so that the next time you have to expertly deliver a presentation for your job or school, your goals will be easier reached. In order to illustrate the concepts and material I will be discussing, I will be using an example of an effective presentation that utilizes the majority of the presentation tools discussed. Apple's September 2014 event. Delivering presentations is a key characteristic of successful professionals, so it is vital to notice all of the elements involved in presenting effectively. Presenting on a subject is only effective if the presenter has a motive for presenting and a fair amount of knowledge regarding the material being presented. The development phase. Development before presentations. Preparation for a presentation is just as important as the presentation itself. The first step in developing and preparing for a presentation is narrowing down to a precise goal or set of goals. The only reason why presentations exist is to convey information and ideas, so deciding what needs to be expressed is a decision that needs to be made before anything else. Apple's September 2014 event had a clear purpose and goal. The reason these speeches and presentations were being made was to inform consumers of new products that were prepping for launch. A more general purpose was to advertise Apple's new products and to get people speculating about the future of the company, but the clear-cut specific goal was to inform of the new products. Once a presentation goal has been set, it is best to next figure out how this goal is going to be reached. What strategies are you going to use to achieve your goal? What is the best possible way to deliver this information as efficiently as possible? What is going to actually be presented in the presentation? An incredible, efficient method of organizing and developing a presentation is an outline. This is where the majority of the presentation is written down, organized, and equipped to set up the presenter for the attainment of the goal. Introductions, conclusions, and transitions are effective tools of wrapping the information up for easier digestion by the audience, but the body of the outline represents the goal. This is where the key points and arguments are made and where the majority of the information is conveyed. All aspects of the outline are important, however, as the audience is listening and retaining the information stated in the presentation. It's the only way the presentation's purpose will be fulfilled. Utilizing the climax order or the anti-climax order of a presentation allows for easier understanding of the information by the audience. This is where the information is organized in increasing for climax or decreasing for anti-climax order based off the strength of the argument if you're presenting to persuade, or the importance of the information if you're presenting to inform. Personally, I prefer a hybrid of the two orders, where I open with my second most important point in order to serve as a hook and to get the audience listening to the weaker points in order to finish off the presentation on a high note and to leave the audience with a positive impression of the presentation. Apple utilized the climax method during their September event, as after their introduction they opened with the smallest announcement of the day, the iPhone 6. This is only considered their weakest bit of information, as it was something that everybody attending the event they already knew was going to be announced. They then went on to discuss the features of the new device and introduce a new service, Apple Pay, before closing with their strongest bit of information, which was the Apple Watch. This was considered the biggest point, as it was mostly a surprise and it was an announcement of a totally new product the company would be offering. This left the audience with a positive imprint of their overall feelings regarding the presentation, which showcased the importance of the order in which the information is presented during a presentation. After you've thought it all out and you know what is going to be presented, the presentation is ready. But what about the actual presentation of the information? Delivering during presentations. Starting off a presentation is one of the most important aspects of the presentation. The audience makes snap decisions of the content being discussed within the first few seconds of the presentation. Starting off strong and delivering a good first impression can be achieved by dressing professionally, knowing the information being discussed, and appearing confident. People's time and thoughts are valuable, so keeping an audience excited and paying attention during a presentation is a skill fundamental to achieving the objective of your presentation. Minimizing physical noise during a presentation is an important step of the developmental process, and including making sure that tools and technologies being used are operating effectively. Avoiding physiological noise is a task that must be in the back of your mind during the development and delivery phases of your presentation. During development, avoiding physiological noise is as simple as making sure your content is organized in a manner that keeps the audience engulfed in your words. During the actual delivery, it is of the utmost importance that physiological noise is avoided so your ideas are conveyed effectively and that your audience retains your information. Using hand gestures in appropriate places, putting emphasis on certain words, and speaking naturally and conversationally are some of the characteristics of a speaker who retains audience attention. Making sure your points are concise enough that the audience doesn't lose attentiveness, but thoroughly enough that your point is conveyed effectively is difficult to master, but key in presenting. Other tools to keep attentiveness of the audience during a presentation can include visual aids, such as graphs and charts that are related to the presentation, or PowerPoints to help the audience follow along. The graphs, charts, and some visual aids can be incredibly useful, especially if the information is numerical. Audio aids and short videos can be used as they present ideas and materials in a different way than your own speaking, which help to break up the monotony of some longer presentation. During Apple's September 2014 event, they kept physical noise at an almost non-existent level, as they had made sure that their presentation tools, the slideshows, pictures, product demos, they're all functioning at the proper capacity, and that their speakers are well versed and practiced. Yeah, there were quite a few applause breaks, but I hardly can imagine any of them seeming like that was an issue. The company keeps physiological noise at bay by delivering a presentation to the audience that wanted to hear it. The only people who were invited to the keynote event, and even the only people who tuned into the live stream, were people who were interested in the information being presented. However, despite the initial interest many members of the audience came in with, it can be easy to lose concentration during nearly an hour and a half of listening to people talk. Apple avoids this by keeping their presentations animated and exciting. This is done by showcasing speakers who communicate effectively, using hand gestures, speaking efficiently, talking understandably, and putting additional emphasis on the words and phrases that the audience was meant to resonate with. Visual aids were used, and it was used throughout the entirety of their presentation, as well as exciting videos, product demos, and even a live musical performance by U2. The important thing to remember when developing and delivering is achieving the purpose behind the whole presentation. Each step taken, decision made, and thought put into presenting should be to further push towards the completion of your goal, or else it's just rambling. A lot of thought has been put into the development and delivery of presentations, and this all must be in the back of a speaker's mind, as the only thing the audience is actually seeing is the physical presentation itself. Presenting information is something everyone does on a daily basis, whether it's discussing plans for the evening, persuading a significant other to eat at a Mexican restaurant instead of Chinese food again, or delivering information to your coworkers about your company's quarterly sales. The developmental and delivery stages of these presentations are equally important. Mastering both of these stages is vital to successful presenting, and being able to present information is incredibly important in achieving goals, succeeding professionally, and communicating in everyday life. Thank you.